Hello everyone, the Klaus here, and today guys I'm going to review a Hero Factory, well, a Lego Hero Factory set released in 2011 as part of the second wave of this year, dubbed Savage Planet, and today I'm going to review a Titan set, in fact the only Savage Beast released as a Titan set, and it's going to be Scorpio. So here's the box, of course a little bigger than your usual Savage Beast which were released as mid-sized sets. So you can see the Lego Hero Factory logo up there. Notice the lime green damaged border all over the place, right there also, which you can see the name, of course, age recommendation, set number, and obviously Scorpio in the front on the front picture. You can also notice that on the jungle background you can see other Scorpios because the action takes place in this new wave in Quatros, which is on Quatros, excuse me, which is a jungle planet filled with savage beasts which are controlled by the evil witch doctor. So kind of like Bionicle in its first year, by the way, but well, it's still quite cool. And it's quite different in terms of design, obviously, than the first year of Bionicle, which is really far away. So let's just keep on the box, keep on talking about the box. On the top side you can see a 1:1 picture scale of the Scorpio's head. Nothing really interesting on the sides, and on the back you have kind of like a little comic strips which explain you the story of this year. So quickly, witch doctors attack the jungle planet Quatros, then Woka calls the Hero Factory center, then they send some heroes, for example like Furnos, on the planet, and as you can see you have a little fight scene between Scorpio and Stormer 3.0, plus also a little picture showing you how the Zamor launcher works, excuse me, not weeks but works. And that's all for the box. Now let's move on quickly to the instruction booklet, which is not really that interesting. Of course it will feature the same pictures as the front of the box, but this time we will have a Witch Doctor's head logo, as you can see. It tells you to sort out your parts, even if it's not really that useful, but well, I guess for young builders it can be quite useful. 20 steps without counting the sub-steps, like all the legs, and as you can see, this guy's got really tons of legs. Parts list, with tons of useful parts, in fact, but we're going to see that in the review. A nice double page, which is all about a fight scene between Witch Doctor and Woka XL, the two other Titans released in this wave, plus also an ad for the first Hero Factory DVD, which contains all the 4 first episodes. Then another double pages about the website and some ads like the comic builder, Crib Crusher game and stuff like that, and a final ad for the Hero Recon Team website, which allows you to build and buy your own hero, which is quite cool. And now it's time to talk about the set itself, which of course is a little more interesting than the box and instruction booklet. And first we have the frame, the body frame, which looks like that. As you can see, this body frame is quite interesting because it's made with 2 Hero body frame. So first this one, which is a Titan body frame, because it is taller than the other body frames. So of course you will recognize all the ball joints for the ball joints which are usually used for the arms, legs, head and stuff like that. And you can see that on the other side we have another body, and these two bodies frame will be linked thanks to this type of parts, which are quite useful, as you can see right there and here. I'm not going to explain all the parts in this set, but as you can see, we have for example this type of parts which are really useful if you want to make some mocks with Bionicle parts. Notice also this part right there with the 2 ball joints, and I think that's quite all. I'm going now to continue, and first I'm going maybe to link some armor parts on the body frame. So excuse me, I may have to take the instruction booklet, because even if this is my set, it's my friend who built it some time ago, so well, I'm just going to do that this way. And so first we're going to link this armor part, which is a new armor part released in this new wave. Well, it's not new because it was already released in black in Stringer 3.0. But maybe first I'm going to link this part. And as you can see, we have this part, which is also a new 3.0 part, but this time recolored in lime green, and this recolor is exclusive to Scorpio. Okay, excuse me guys. So we're going to link that this way. this part then. And I'm going to speed up a little because I already think that I'm going to be quite slow. So here we go with the frame, and the final part is going to be this one, which is not a new one because it was already released in the first wave of 2011, and we're going to link that here. And so this will be helpful to cover the holes on this part of the body of Scorpio. And that said, now we're going to link the tail. So the tail, as you can see, is made with tons of frame part or skeleton part, as you can see, or bones, if you want to call them like that. So bones. As you can see, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus these two ones right there, which will be quite useful. You can also notice all the use of black armor parts, which are quite interesting, and also some lime green armor parts, which are a new color because Breeze 2.0 didn't use this type of armors, this type of this type of armor, excuse me. Then we're going to have the usual Tornax launcher, and then this part from the first wave. Link the Zamor right there, nothing really new, of course. If you want, you can fire this thing like that. It works just fine. And finally, I'm going to link this tail on the body. And because I have two bone parts right there, I'm going to use them, well, this one here, and the second one on this bone joint. And so I will have a tail which works quite nice, and which is pretty strong in terms of, which just works fine, excuse me. And then we're going to link all the legs, and this guy got like 8 legs, excuse me. So first the rear legs, which looks, if I'm correct, like that. So once again, we're going to have 3 bones used right there, some armors here, notice the little spike, the silver part, but that's not all because we're going to link 2 parts. First is going to be this one that you already know because we have already linked it on the back of the monster, if you can say so, of Scorpio. And then a new recolor of a new part from the from this wave, so which already appeared in Woka XL, for example, and on Bulk 3.0, but this time it's come in lime green. So once again, a new recolor, which is quite cool, because this part can be quite useful if you want to make your armor a little more interesting than it is. We're going to link this part right there. Of course, all the parts are symmetrical, this means they are the same, there is no differences between the left and the right. Here we go. And now it's time to link the middle leg, if I can say so, which are a little smaller than the other leg, because as you can see, we are just going to use 2 bones, but once again, we're going to use some new nice recolors, some nice lime green recolors for these 2 parts. Link that on this ball joint. Then the third legs, which looks like that. As you can see, we are not going to have any armors right there because if there were some armor here, it will have been blocked by this armor. So that's why there is no armor on this bone part. For the rest, as you can see, it's quite simple. But we're going to add this part, which is a new part from this wave. It's called a Quasar Spike, if I'm correct. And that's with this part that Witch Doctor infected the animals, or the beasts. And as you can see, we have a nice fade between black and trans red, yes, kind of trans red at the end. And of course, it got 2 points of connection, which will be linked on these 2 little holes. Oh yeah, sometimes there is some problems with the armor under it, but and here we go. And finally, the last legs, or maybe arms, because this time it looks more like arms than legs. Once again, 3 types of bones, as you can see, and this one which are quite useful. 2 armors, this type of part, and as you can see, a Benten claw in blacks, which was already released before in black in other sets, in a Benten set, but it's still cool to have this type of part. Personally, I really like this type of open ends. It changed from the closed ends that we have since 2009 with the Glatorian. And finally, the head. which look like that. So some bones parts used right there, and some connectors. On these connectors, there's two parts which are used as tusks on Wojo, and of course there are new parts from this web, and the only point of connection is this one. Maybe you can use the hole to put some parts, but I'm not really that sure. So, well, the axle is still the only point of connection. Then we're going to link a printed part, which is of course exclusive to this set. As you can see, it's a nice mix of all the colors found in Scorpio, so the lime green, the black, the red, and the silver, plus dark metal. And finally the head, which is not new because it was released before in Waspix, but in old yellow. Here, as you can see, it's recolored in lime green. Of course, you got the 2 points of connection, and we're going to use this armor to link the head. We link that on the ball joint, and here we go. Scorpio is finished. So now I'm going to do a little turnaround of this guy, and that will be all I think for this review. Well, of course I will talk about the articulations, and then do a little sum up, but obviously that will be all. And here we go. So in terms of articulations, well, you got many bones parts, as you can see. So obviously you will have many articulations. So well, first let's begin with the tail. If I can show you this quickly. So we got 1 point of rotation right there, well, which allows you to move these things, well, which yes, up to this point. I mean, it works quite, yes, like that. Excuse me guys, maybe a little voice glitch. So yeah, as you can see, up to this point and down to this point. Then you have one right there, 2, 3, and 4 points of articulations on the bones, which really allows you to move the tail the way you want. As you can see, you can do this type of stuff without any problems. Plus, of course, you can fire the Zamor right there. Notice also the articulations now on the rear leg. So you got 1 point of articulation right there, then 1 here and 1 there. So well, you can really make the legs work the way you want. There is no problems. Then you have the intermediate legs, which are blocked to move just up and down, as you can see, and the same can be said for this point of articulation. So not on the sides, just up and down. Then you have this point of articulation, which once again allows you to just move the parts up and down, as you can see, not on the sides, once again up, down, and the only 3 ball joints on this section is on this part, which allows you to move the things a little on the sides, but most of the points of articulations are just up and down. Finally, you got the arms, which this time are mounted on a 3 ball joint, which means you can move the things the way you want, or the way you want. Then you have this point of articulation, which allows you to make really some nice articulated arms. You can see you can do this type of stuff without any problem and really bend them on the elbow section, if I can say so. Finally, you got the neck with 2 points of 2 ball joints, which allows you to make this type of stuff if you want, or to move it on the sides without any big problems, down, up. Plus also a last ball joint mounted on the on this part right there, which allows you to move the head part independently from the neck, which can be quite interesting. And I think that's all for the articulation, because I talked about all the legs. So as you can see, it's pretty well articulated, except for some parts which can just move up and down. But apart from that, it's really well done, I think. And here we go. So I'm not really going to make a pose, because you can't really make a pose with this guy. I mean, he's kind of like a 6-legged creature, so well, like that. And well, here we go for the sum up. So first, the color shade, which is quite weird because it's usually many colors like the red, the lime green, the black, silver, and dark metal. And even with all those colors, I think that they mix pretty well together. There is no big problems. Maybe the dark gray sometimes look quite ugly in comparison to the red or stuff like that. But apart from the dark gray, I think that the black, red, and lime green looks quite good together. In fact, especially the red and green, which are two bright colors and kind of mix well together, which might seem a little weird, but I think that personally, I don't really have any problems with this color scheme. It works okay, even if it really got many colors which are quite unusual colors, like for example the lime green, which is a color that you don't see in every set, even if it was quite popular in the 2007 year of Bionicle. And well, that's it. So the color scheme is quite great. Then you have the parts selection, which is once again which is well, not really once again, but which is quite magnificent, because obviously you're going to have 8 legs plus the body, and all these parts plus the tail also. All these parts are made of bones. So if you want bones like that, different type of bones, of skeleton parts, of frame parts, it's really useful because you're going to have many parts like that. But that's not all, because once again you're going to have many armor parts and also some black armor parts, which is quite cool because of course it's a color which is really useful for mockers, because black is a color that can be put in every mock without any big problem. So many black armor parts, quite useful. And then you have some more specific weak colors, like for example all the lime green colors, which are quite useful because also there are weak colors of new parts like this one. So you're going to have, for example, 6 parts like that in lime green, 5 parts like that in lime green. Once again, this type of armors in lime green, the head, which is a weak color of the waspix head, the tusk, the printed part, the claws, the quadza spikes. So obviously, in terms of parts selection, it's really great for mockers because it's really got many parts, many new parts, and exclusive recolors. So all in all, really great in terms of recolors. Then you have the construction, the building of the set, which is quite interesting because you learn how to build this type of frame, which is really interesting in terms of shape and also of how they used the different parts, like for example, how they used the 2 body frames together to make this type of big body frame, which is quite cool. So the body is interesting, the tail can be quite fun to build, then you have the legs, which are quite simple obviously, and the head, which is also okay. So overall, interesting building for those who want to know how to build, for example, some savage beasts with this new parts, with this new bones and skeleton parts. So well, it's okay, it's not that incredible because of course the legs, heads are not really that specific. Plus also this Titan does not really use any little parts like the old Bionicle sets. So in fact it's really a Titan just composed of armor and skeleton parts, bones parts. So it's quite interesting, but of course it's not the most complex construction ever done. Then you have the articulations, which are quite nice obviously because you have many legs, tail also, so many bones parts all over the place. The only problems might come from the parts which can just move up and down, but seriously apart from that there is no problems for the articulations. But once again, because of this design of multiple legs, you can't really make that tons of articulations because he's like a multi-legged creator, so you can't really move the things the way you want. But well, I guess if you work that, you can still do some type of pose. Well, let's try to make a specific pose with this guy. Well, for example, you can do this type of stuff with Scorpio. And well, finally the design. So in my opinion, I'm not really a big fan of multi-legged creature personally. So I will say that Scorpio, if you look at it as an objective point of view, is quite successful because designers wanted to make obviously a scorpion, so a multi-legged creature, and they quite succeed into that. I mean, you have multiple legs, you have a big tail, you have this type of claws, you have a body frame made with some armor. So obviously they quite succeed in what they wanted to do. You have your scorpion, as you can see, with multiple legs, which is quite new, I think, because this is the first time that we have 8-legged, even if these parts can be considered as arms, 8-legged creature in an action figure set, if I exclude maybe some commoner set, but well, that's not really important. So well, they quite succeed into making a Scorpion, but well, I mean, it's still a Scorpion, it's still a multi-leg creature. Lego makes like tons of this type of beast throughout the years. So for me personally, I think that this type of design is quite bland because well, of course, it's got multiple legs, it's got a tail, stuff like that, but it's still the same as a spider or stuff like that. It's kind of look like others previous creatures. So I would say the design is quite successful if you look at it at an objective point of view. I mean, it's a Scorpion, it looks like a Scorpion, so it succeeds. The tail is well done, the body frame is okay, all the legs works quite great, plus the color scheme is well mixed, but it's quite a bland design in my opinion. So, well, it's a quite successful title, but I think if I have to give a mark to this set, I will give him an average good mark because it's a nice creature. It's okay, but it's not that impressive. And it is quite big, by the way. It's quite big in terms of size in comparison to a hero. It's quite impressive, but well, personally, not really my cup of tea. But some might like it, and I think that's also Scorpio is a good set, a little blend on the design elements, but overall it works well. Great color scheme, really a nice selection of parts. So if you are a mocker, you might want to get this set just for the parts because really it really has many armor and bones parts. So really useful, well articulated, and an okay design. So well, that's all, guys. Hope you enjoy this video review. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them. I will happily answer them. And that said, hope you enjoy, guys, and see you later for another video review. Bye!